XenoChat. I am Tyler, along here with my co-host, Justin.
Hey, everyone.
Alright, we have a few returning guests with us today. First up, we have Kat.
Hello.
And we have B.
Hello.
And we have Anthony.
Hello.
Alright, so we're returning. The gang is back together for another episode of You Will Forget Our Names, Part 2. So basically we're going to chat about some of the characters throughout the Xeno series that we really wish had more screen time or had more involvement in the main game or otherwise. So like last time, we're just going to go around. We have a list that we still have from last time. And we're just going to go around. Each person will choose someone from the list they want to talk about. And we'll just say how they were kind of disappointing and how we would improve them. So let's see.
Tyler, could I start with a hot take real fast?
And
I think yes, it's related. It's a character on the list here, and I think this may.
How about you wait your turn, and then we'll get to your hot take.
No,
okay.
How about we do this, Ant? Since you jumped right into it, you go first.
All right. There.
Okay.
I'll allow it.
All right, Kat. Back me up on this.
Okay.
They killed Cherenkov too fast.
They did!
Oh my god.
Do you want me to yell really loud this entire podcast?
So, I watched the cutscenes of like 2/3 of Xenosaga Episode 1. It was whatever was on the movie from the European release to catch the European audience up for Episode 2, which was the best worst idea I've ever seen. And the movie, dumpster fire as it is, because of how much they cut out, I could tell just from watching that they were setting Cherenkov up for something like really, really big, and they killed him off way too fast.
Yep.
I think that like given the amount of depth and detail they gave his story, setting everything up with his family and all of that is a character that had the potential to go all the way to maybe the end of the series. I don't know. I haven't seen the rest of it, but it felt like he was supposed to be really, really important. Mm-hmm. And I was really surprised that they just crucified him literally that fast.
Yep. I have cross-series opinions about Cherenkov. He is very similar, but also polar opposite of Zanza. He's one of the people who stumbled into pressing the button that he should not have. And I don't know how much of that was recycled into Zanza. Like, Cherenkov's look is very divorced from anything from Xenoblade. And I'm surprised at myself that I have so much interest in Xenoblade, despite there not being a whole lot of Cherenkov stuff. But I think the architect and Cherenkov have a lot in common, and I feel like some of him seeped through the walls, though not by name.
So just to clarify, when you say Zanza, you mean Klaus, right?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify for my own sake, but also maybe for people in the audience.
Okay, sorry, yes. Especially Klaus in Xenoblade 2, as we see him. And like, but yeah, gone too soon. Hashtag gone too soon.
It really felt that way. I feel like they had that Takahakers could have done a lot more with that character.
I think he was Takahashi's character, and I think he wasn't cut at first because he may have been like director meddling. But there's nothing more of him in this series except for one entry in the Xenosaga 3 like in-game character database. Like, I think Margulis mentions him once in Xenosaga 2, but not by name.
I mean, to be fair, they gave him a lot more screen time than they did in the anime.
Yeah.
I've heard that's also a dumpster fire.
Yeah, I quit after they killed him in the anime.
Yeah, the anime is its own thing. We have a whole episode about that, but it has its own set of problems, but completely separate problems.
Yeah, we have like 2 or 3 episodes. We're never going back to the anime.
Yeah. Imagine if like Cherenkov lived and then he was like a guest party member in Xenosaga 3.
Oh my god.
Like, that's something I could have seen. Like, I felt like they were setting him up for like a redemption arc.
That's my fan fiction. He lives on the Kukai Foundation and like has a boyfriend or 3. And sometimes he joins the party if he feels like it.
That would be nice.
All right.
Okay, who wants to go next?
All right. So, do you want to? You know what? Since it's on my mind, let's talk about some Xenogears characters like Maria, for instance.
Oh boy, Maria.
Yeah. Maria's one of those characters. There's a couple characters in Xenogears I feel is kind of underbaked, and Maria's definitely one of them, especially for how popular she would end up becoming.
She has a figure coming out.
Yeah, she's got a figure coming out. Both her and her gear, like, and she also doesn't really have like death blows where she's like attacking because all of her moves involve the robot. Which, don't get me wrong, that's cool. I do like that, but still, it would have been nice if they did a little bit more with her and we get to like really see her. Because I don't know, it just feels like they had this really sick design. Because I actually really, really like her design. Her hair is on point, but we don't get to see as much, and that makes me really sad.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's unfortunate because a lot of the party members, besides Faye, Ellie, Bart, kind of get the same treatment where they have an arc, and then after their arc is over, it's like,
yeah,
I'm just there, just tagging along.
And then you have characters like Margie, who kind of plays a bigger role,
right?
And she's not even playable, so it's just like, okay. Yeah, the way some of the characters in that game are executed, it's like they're not really consistent with like how important they are in a party, because obviously Maria is there. Maria feels like a character that would have been optional. Like you could like Maria kind of feels almost like the Yuffie of that. No, I shouldn't say that. Because Yuffie actually has some significance in FF7. That's a bad comparison. But yeah, Maria, I don't know. I think that they could have done so much more with Maria. Just feels like a wasted potential with her. And to a lesser degree, Margie, because I think Margie could have been playable. And then you had like other things like Emerelda, where Emerelda had like a whole side quest that like completely changes her, and then that's like optional. Yeah. So it's like, okay.
Yeah. The first time I played through the game, I did not do that at all, and I was like, in the anime cutscene at the end, shows her as an adult. I'm like, what?
Oh no!
Yeah,
oh
man, it doesn't adjust. So I was like, why is she an adult right now? So it wasn't until I beat the game a second time, I was like, oh yeah, and it's a really good quest for her.
It is.
So if that should have been mandatory.
That absolutely should have been mandatory. We'll talk about another character that had a quest that should have been mandatory later on, but yeah. I know we kind of just covered like 3 characters there, but
no, that's fine, because a lot of the at least these few party members, they really don't have more than I wish there was more of them, and they just didn't fall off in the plot like they did.
All right, so let's pick on somebody else.
Hi.
I was just about to say B. There you go.
Character I'm putting up to the plate is from Xenoblade 3, and it is Triton. I love him. He's awesome. When I first saw him, I'm like, okay, I have to fight another Mobius jerk. But you don't with him. And he's been saying he's been lived thousands of years, and he just wants to view the world. And I wanted to know more. Like, why did he leave? Why did he leave the group? Why is he going solo, and why aren't they after?
Like, it would have been so cool if like we get to see the other consoles actually like talk about Triton. Like, I don't know, maybe they like rejected him or something. They like kicked him out of the cool kids club or some shit like that.
You would have thought that there would be some sort of consequence for leaving the councils, but there's Triton, and he joins with the allies. It's like, okay.
Anthony, I remember last time from the quiz episode, you still haven't gotten Triton, is that right?
I was literally just Googling this character because I'm like, I have no idea who y'all are talking about. He's a former consul, and I'm like, what? And I'm like Googling this. I'm like on the Xenoblade wiki now, scrolling down. I'm like, what? This is a really important character. Why is this optional?
Right?
Yeah, this is why we've been talking about him so much.
Yeah,
why is this optional?
He's optional too.
I think you would love him.
This is why we keep talking about him and why we keep saying check it out.
And I think you would really like him.
No, it's on the to-do list. After I finish Fire Emblem Engage, I'm going back finishing the DLC for Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and then I'm gonna go and get some of these other characters that I missed, because the more time that goes by, the more I'm beginning to realize that like they made things optional in this game. They really should not have made optional.
Yeah, you'll like Triton.
I'm sure I will.
He's a delight and a half.
Yeah, he's a fun one.
But again, they kind of just left him out to dry in more ways than one.
Mm-hmm. There's a reason he's kind of become a bit of a favorite in the server, and why we talk about him very, very, very often.
He's got some good quests, though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's got the booty quests.
The booty quest.
Does he talk like a pirate?
Once again, there's a reason why we keep talking about him and bringing him up.
You are correct.
I'm going to like this character a lot.
You will.
Yes. Let's see. Kat, would you like to go next?
Let me see. Sorry, I'm trying to choose something that already isn't taken up.
Sorry, I should have put you on the spot.
You good. I'll talk about Doctus.
Yeah, Doctus.
Yeah, let me make sure my hand is on the I'm talking button. So for people who don't know, Doctus is a person who started up the association called Scantia in Xenosaga 3. And Xenosaga 3 spoilers, she is actually, I'm not sure if she's a reincarnation or life extension of Melise Ortis, who worked with Ziggy in Pied Piper. And she's a real cool character. She doesn't need no UMN, and she's just like she's a cool character. She shows up and she does some cool stuff, and I think they explain her, but we don't get a whole lot of time with her. And she's got a really cool look. I think around the time I got married, I had hair like hers, and they just don't do too much with her. And like, I really just want them to have like ported Pied Piper to PS2, so we gotten the whole story, because when we have her whole story, we also have more of Ziggy's story.
Yeah, because I don't think it's like, it's not like confirmed, but there's like lots of, I don't know. I really support the theory that she is Melise.
Oh, it wasn't confirmed?
As far as I know, but there's just like a lot of evidence. It's not like outright said.
Oh, okay.
But I 100% support that theory. And if I'm wrong, please correct me. But I think that would have like helped better her character and added more to Pied Piper if they had outright said that. But
oh well.
She is a really cool character, though.
Yeah.
She kicked Cosmos' ass at one point.
She just has a really cool vibe.
All right. Well, okay. I guess I can go next.
Mm-hmm. Back to you.
Okay.
All right.
Well, I guess to kind of, I don't know, bounce off what Kat just selected. Canaan from Xenosaga, I think.
Oh, yeah.
That was definitely a character that deserved more screen time, because he has huge connections to Pied Piper, because he's basically was the character in Pied Piper also named Canaan, or was it no? What was his name in Pied Piper?
Lactus?
Lactus, thank you. because he was like it's weird because he was Lactus, but I guess they
did something with his body.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know if he was given a new body or... Oh man, it's been so long. But that is definitely a character that deserved more time, because I remember before Xenosaga Episode 2 came out, I remember seeing a lot of stuff for Lactus, and it was like, who is this pretty boy that we're seeing so many screenshots for? And then they kind of, after his little bit in the beginning of Episode 2, he kind of, I don't know, they kind of shoved him aside and didn't really bring him up till a few points in Episode 3. And yeah, if they just kind of like went more with his connections and Pied Piper and brought him up more, besides like that one pivotal scene at the end where it's like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna reveal all my cards here and not really have Ziggy, it was it was a tough moment. I was
gonna just say he's just the intro boy.
He's just the intro boy. Oh. And there's some notes from Robin here about Canaan. I'm gonna read Robin's notes real quick. He said, more interaction with Ziggy where they both feel a sense of familiarity that they can't place. The game mentions Scott and Alan being friends because of the fucking anime. It can allude to the damn self-vote game. On that note, a lot of his problems come from his story being more relevant in Pied Piper. Xenosaga needed to do more to bring Pied Piper into accessible canon, which I 100% agree, because I remember there was like in Episode 3 there was like a part where they like dump a bunch of Pied Piper in the database, and I was like, no, don't do that. That's not how you do that.
Yeah, it's kind of bullshit that like you have multiple characters' backstories that are either in or heavily reliant on a freaking phone game that most of the world doesn't even have access to, even in its time. I'm not even talking about, oh, we can't download it today. No, a lot of us couldn't even get it back then. So it's just like that's just shitty.
Yeah.
And it's messed up because like when I first played Saga, I kind of didn't really care. I was like, oh, whatever, it's Pied Piper, it's just a phone game. But like the more like I learn about Pied Piper, and I'll be honest, I haven't really looked into Pied Piper until I guess a little bit more recently, over the last like few years. I started to look into it more, and I kind of don't like looking into it because the more I do, the more it kind of sours Saga for me, because I'm just like, this is bullshit that so much of this is locked to this phone game that is just mostly lost to time at this point. And I know it's like every now and then, every few months, there'll be like, what was it, Gmode? Gmode will have like that survey. Mm-hmm. They'll be like, oh, what kind of games do you want us to preserve or release on the Switch? And then like a bunch of people will say Pied Piper, and then it ends up trending on Twitter for a couple days, and then nothing happens.
Yeah.
Is that actually even possible to preserve a phone game like that on?
Well, yes, because that's what's been happening. They've been doing this. Yeah. Gmode has they have a whole line of games. That is what they're doing, is they're literally taking these old phone games and they're porting them to Switch, and they've done it with a whole bunch of them so far. More recently, they recently ported a port of Persona 1 that was like mobile only in Japan, and that made it to Switch.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I've not heard of this. That's really cool.
Yeah, I think they've also released a lot of like Shin Megami Tensei phone games as well.
Yeah, so there's actually been some efforts to preserve some of those old games. It's been happening, but like, it's just drops in a bucket because there are so many games that came out in that time.
When we say phone game, we're talking like before the era of smartphones. We're talking like
yes.
I'm talking like early 2000 Java. We're talking about that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought. Wow. It's like, I would say that as a Kingdom Hearts fan, I feel your pain because really important lore is currently locked behind this bullshit game. I forget what it's even called.
Friend,
But
I'm also a giant Kingdom Hearts nerd.
So you know what I'm talking about.
I 100% know what you're talking about.
The game that has the Keyblade War in it. But yeah, my point is that like I feel your pain there because like having super important stuff locked behind bullshit is not a good. It's not good for anybody, really. But like, damn, like I didn't. It's both very impressive to me and also very like concerning that they thought it was a good idea to lock like super important Xenosaga stuff on a flip phone game. Like that's I'm trying to wrap my mind around that because the very concept itself is so baffling to me.
I have a theory, and it's that the people who made the phone may have like been wanting a bunch of paid advertisement from several game companies at the time. So that's how like all of these like supplemental things came out. This is just my theory. So like they got extended this opportunity to have extended canon for Xenosaga somewhere. It was not optimal, but I think what I think happened is I think that this was like paid promotion.
And this was during a time where like multiple companies were trying to like experiment with phones. Like even in that era, Square Enix was putting out a lot of mobile games. I know everybody likes to clown on Square's mobile ports today, but back then they put out some stuff like even some of their more obscure franchises. Like I distinctly remember Brave Fencer Musashi got like a mobile phone game at the time, and it's like. There's that. There's like I know there's a whole bunch of Mega Man games that are on mobile, and yeah, it was a really weird time. But yeah, that's that's Piper. That's my little rant on that.
It was actually a really good story, but that's
so people say.
Okay, who wants to go next?
I can probably talk about something.
Okay.
So, I mentioned about like side quests that should not have been optional. Let's talk about Tyrea for a second.
Oh my god, no.
Like,
oh my god, that was optional. Holy shit! I remember when I was streaming that game, you guys had to twist my arm to go do that real fast. Like Anthony, go do this. And I was like, okay, I'm going. Oh, and then I realized I was like, damn. Oh,
yeah, and God. It's like it was bad enough in the original game because it was like, oh, that's kind of like. That's kind of important lore, but now that we know that like it basically leads into Future Connected, it's like, yeah, that probably shouldn't have been optional. But the thing that like kind of irks me more about Tyrea is one, I like her story. I think her story is actually pretty alright. But man, what a missed opportunity was it to not make her playable in Future Connected? Like
they have those moments with Melia. She could have.
Yeah.
Why even have those moments with her if you can't have her playable?
Yeah. And it wasn't. Did I dream this? But wasn't there actually like data of her playable?
I believe so. I can't remember where I heard that from, so we'll have to.
I thought I heard that somebody found like
I remember that
data that suggests that she was playable. Because she feels like a character that like. Maybe at one point they would have intended her to be playable, and it would have been really, really sick to have her.
It would have been really cool. She had a really interesting arc, and the first time I played Xenoblade back over a decade ago, I didn't do her side quest. So it wasn't until Future Connected that I actually played. I was like, oh wow, this is really good. Wow, and I missed that for over a decade. Huh. Yeah. So,
the thing that gets me about Tyrea is that like they set her up to be so important, and like I was genuinely expecting to see her somewhere in Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Spoiler alert, you don't. And that kind of shocked me because they stress so much importance on that character in Future Connected. That I'm thinking they gotta be doing something else with this character. They have to be. And they don't. And it feels like with a lot of these characters that they spent so much time setting up, they just I mentioned it earlier with what the Xenosaga character I mentioned, Cherenkov. I feel like they have this habit of like setting up these characters to be really, really important and then just forgetting they exist.
That's how you know it's Takahashi's. No, I'm kidding.
Like, come on, man.
Yep. Oh boy.
It is a pet peeve. It's not something that is like a hard breaking point I have with his creativity style, but it is a big pet peeve because some of these characters that he writes are really, really interesting, and you want more from them, and you just don't get it. Like you get more of lovesick puppy dog, but you don't get like more of this character that went through a redemption arc and is set up to be important. So Tyrea is very frustrating for me because she was incredibly interesting, and they did nothing with her when they absolutely could have. If they did stuff with Melia, there's no reason they couldn't have used Tyrea as well.
Future Connected was that chance, and they blew it. So was Xenoblade 3.
Yeah,
Future Redeemed.
Or hell was I was gonna say Future Redeemed too, and to my knowledge, I haven't beaten Future Redeemed yet, but like to my knowledge, they didn't do anything with her there either. Like come on, like you had your opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to do something with this character that you set up to be important, and you didn't.
Yep. And we're getting into that, scratching the surface of my issues with Future Redeemed, but that might be for another episode.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. Who wants to go next?
I can go next if you want.
Go ahead.
We're gonna continue on the trail here of setting characters up to be important and then not doing anything with them. Let's talk about Mikhail from Xenoblade Chronicles 2. So they stress his importance kind of late in the game. I experienced Xenoblade Chronicles 2 in a way that if I could go back in time and do it differently, I absolutely wouldn't, which was I stopped at chapter 7 and played Torna and then proceeded to play the rest of the game. And if I had not done that, I would not have had anywhere near the appreciation for what happens, in I think it's chapter 9, where Mikhail sacrifices himself to stop Amalthus. And they could have done a lot more with Mikhail, I think, especially in Torna. Because in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, his presence is there, but I feel like it should have been given more weight. But in Torna especially, I feel like he should have done a lot more, said a lot more. Like, we should have seen him observing, reacting to things a little bit more, whereas he barely talks, and also his origins and whatnot remain kind of like a mystery.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like he's the most forgettable side character, but he was, in my opinion at least, stressed to be a little bit more important to the overall plot than Akhos and Nebrona. But I also feel like what they did with Mikhail just wasn't enough. There should have been more. He should have had more of a presence throughout the main game and not been given so much weight towards the end, where that weight didn't feel earned.
It almost seems like there's a disjoint between Torna and the Blade.
Right. I was gonna get to that. I was gonna say, like, it feels like there's a piece that's missing. Like, and this is kind of a problem I have with multiple parts of like this game, Xenoblade 2, and also Xenoblade 3, and even more so in Xenoblade 3. But I feel like we don't really see how we got from point A to point B sometimes, and especially with like Mikhail, with the way he is in Torna versus how he is in Xenoblade 2. It's like such a shift that I feel like we missed something here. Like, why is he acting this way?
Yeah, we're going from point A to point C, and
Yeah,
completely out the window.
Yeah, because he goes from being this gentle, docile, almost like kid. He just goes from being a kid to like this borderline, like cocky. Well, no, not borderline. Extremely cocky and almost like cruel individual. And I'm just even having played Torna and then the main game, I'm like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah.
What like who hurt him?
Like I guess you could argue that it's the trauma from Milton's death. You could argue that, but I feel like they could have done a better job actually like conveying that. It's like it's a similar thing to what people complain about in Yakuza, to bring another franchise into this. I know one thing that people complain about with Yakuza 0 specifically is Majima is very different from how he is in the first game or Kiwami 1, and it's kind of like, well, his shift to how he is in the rest of the series is just like kind of like he kind of goes from like 0 to 100. But at least in 0, we kind of get to see a little bit more of Majima's story. But like still, like it's kind of just like, whoa, he's like this now. I felt that way about Xenoblade 2. Like when I saw Mikhail and Torna, and then when I saw Xenoblade 2, I was like, whoa, so this is what Mikhail used to be, but now he's like this crazy bastard who's also kind of like a womanizer. Like it's just like, huh?
I'm going to bring another franchise into this for this comparison. Fire Emblems 6 and 7, Binding Blade and Blazing Sword, respectively. There's the main antagonist of the 6th game, King Zephiel, I think it is. I'm bad with pronunciation, but in 7, which is the prequel to 6, we see a kind, sweet, very gentle young man, and then in Fire Emblem 6, he's this cruel, insane, mad monarch that is incredibly power hungry, and he unleashes dragons, and you're just like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah.
Like, how do your personalities go from being cinnamon roll to I don't know,
Cinnamon roll with an S.
yeah, basically. Like, how do you that took a second to click, but that was actually really clever, Cat. But yeah, how do you go from that? Like what happened there?
Yeah, and it's a shame because I think there was an opportunity to tell a really cool story with Mikhail, a really interesting story, just seeing like this kid kind of just get really fucked in the head and become the maniac that he's in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, but they just don't tell that story, or at least they don't do enough to tell that story, or enough to point the player into following that progression.
Like, I get that he was experimented on by Amalthus, but I feel like that isn't enough to really, like, justify what he's become and why he's like the way he is towards otherwise innocent people. Like, that's the thing I don't get.
I will say, because can't you actually get Mikhail as a blade? And yes. Now I will say this. I did not get Mikhail. I did not do Mikhail's side quest. I'm gonna admit that. So if in that side quest they do explain that is good. I just don't know if that happens. Do you know, Tyler, by any chance?
I can't remember at all. I don't even know if I even finished this side quest.
Is he DLC or something?
I don't think. I think he was at it.
He's a new game plus. Yeah, he was a new game plus blade.
Oh,
there's a whole bunch of new game plus blades. In fact, a lot of like the Torna dudes are actually blades.
Yeah, because you can get Akhos and Patroka. You can't get Malos or Jin though, which is a little
lame.
Yeah, I honestly think that they really undercooked Malos and Jin and Amalthus, but I'm not gonna bog down the podcast.
No. I am very much of the same opinion, Kat. I have gone off about it a million times where I felt like they were weaker villains.
I feel like we've had this conversation with those two before.
Yeah, we've absolutely had that.
I'm pretty sure that's been in another episode. But yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's besides the point. Yeah, I think Mikhail could have been really cool, but there's something missing. Maybe that missing something is in his Blade Quest. I don't know, but yeah. Let us know in the comments, because clearly you guys are bigger fans of this game than we are.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I can hear them typing right now, just like actually, you guys are a bunch of fake fans. How dare you have a podcast?
And you know what? Because I just said that, that probably also applies to Akhos and Patroka as well, because they are also DLC blades. Well, New Game Plus blades, rather. And yeah, you can actually, they should have Blade Quest as well.
My thing with Akhos and Abrona is that, like, the reason why they are the way they are, I kind of get. I get that from the game, what happened to them, but also I just kind of don't care. Like, it's weird. Like I just, for whatever reason, I don't care for the two of them as characters. Like, they're just they felt like disposable minions to the rest of Torna. So, and that is my asshole opinion, but that's just how I feel. Like, it's like I didn't need more from them. I feel like I got what I needed, and that was it. Like, they had it rough. They're working for the bad guys. It makes sense. That's all I kind of need. Now, somebody else here may feel very different and want more from them, but I didn't really feel the need for anything else.
Well, I guess we could segue into them, but I actually would like more of Akhos and Patroka, because I mean, there's just like some interesting aspects about them, because they're I like how they, well, Akhos I think defined them as siblings, but they're technically not siblings, because I guess it was their original drivers that were siblings or something like that. But I felt like they could have, like, I don't know, because otherwise I wouldn't have known there was really that much of a connection between the two if he hadn't, like, said that. So there was just, like, some moments like that where it's like, okay, that's an idea, but you're not fleshing out that idea. So I did kind of want more about them, because the enemy group Torna in general I felt was a little flat, besides, Jin and Malos in general.
You know, you mentioned that it's Akhos and Patroka, not Akhos and Abrona, and I said Abrona earlier, so let me
I didn't want to correct
let me correct myself. Who was Abrona?
Brona is Akhos's blade.
Oh, okay. Right. Yes, I remember now.
Yep.
And that's why we know nothing about him.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure you can even get Obrona as a New Game Plus blade as well.
Yep, and Perdido, which is Patroka's blade.
Yeah. Alright, let's move on to some other characters.
B, who do you want to talk about next?
Let me bring up Rock from 2. Yeah. So Rock is one of the mercenary blades, if not the mercenary blade. So he saw a lot of crap and shit and stuff. He doesn't really say too much about, what's his name? Guernica? No. Yes? Vandam. That's right. Took a moment.
Uh-huh.
He doesn't say too much about Vandam. And this is when Vandam is still alive. But, they probably have quite a wealth of knowledge. And what we do get from Walk afterwards is him asking about what he was and what his driver was like in a previous lifetime. So I think what's missing is a little piece of Vandam and Rock's story, instead of focusing on the other half of this is Rock, and he was with this great driver, blah, blah, blah. I just think there's a little piece missing about who Rock is as a blade and all his time as a mercenary. That's it.
It's frustrating that and I understand they did it for, the plot reasons that they did, but it is a little frustrating that the blades lose their memories when they when they reset, so to speak, because I feel like we could have gotten to know Rock a lot more if Rock hadn't, had his memories wiped when Vandam died. And I feel like you could say that about a lot of blades that have more story significance, like Rock, that there's more that you could learn from them if they didn't lose all of their literal life experience when they, go back into their core crystal. So it's one of those things that's like, it's a fault by design, but maybe it's intentional. And I love and I hate that about Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. It's made Bridget seem like the smartest blade out there.
I know, right? Like, we know so much about Bridget, and she's one of the best, most, well-written blades because of her genius idea of writing down her life's, memories into that book. Like, that is such a clever workaround. Such a clever workaround. That
I agree.
Pick up right where she left off, essentially. She's like, all right, give me 5 minutes. I gotta read this.
Yeah, and it's think about it this way. It almost makes you wonder if maybe every time you save, that's Bridget writing down her memories.
It's good to keep a record.
Justin. You're gonna kill me, Kat.
Sorry, I gotta fling out the one-liners.
But Justin, don't tell me things like that. I'll lose so much sleep over it, and I'll be lying awake, looking at the ceiling, wait, what if?
Yeah, and I can't remember much of Rock's quests, but I remember there was one where Rock is asking Rex about Vandam, but it's also Rex knew Vandam for 10 minutes. I feel like maybe they could have branched out and have Rock, or maybe go to other. Well, I don't know if that was part of the quest, if they talk to other people in the mercenary group, but that would have been more interesting to reach out and learn more about both Vandam and past Rock and their relationship.
Another thing about Rock, Rock does have he/him pronouns, but is bird gender in the database because there's male, female, or monster.
Wasn't he gender 4 or something like that? It was I can't remember. I want to say it was gender 4, but I might be wrong.
The 4 genders.
The 4.
I just wanted to I just wanted to call attention to it.
No. That's good. That's good that you called that out. Okay. Let's see. Cad, do you want to go next?
Let's see. Since I'm looking at it, Ryyz and Dagahn, they sort of...
Xenoblade X.
Yeah, Xenoblade X. So to give some context, Ryyz and Dagahn are enemy aliens from... What is the enemy group called in X? Yes, the Ganglion Empire. And they are this tiny little girl and their gigantic monster thing. And they I don't know at what point in the story that you get the little wood sprite looking is it Celica?
Celica, uh-huh.
And what was her big guy called?
Rock?
It was
another Rock. So Ryyz and Dagahn were both the little girl, big monster combination, and I don't think they had any kind of interactions with them, but I forget most of Xenoblade X by now. But they seemed really, their personalities were really hype, but they were on screen for 5 seconds.
Yeah, and especially with Celica, because they hype up Celica, because she's a late game character, and you're like, oh, she's cool, she looks important.
Yeah.
And she's just not. Also, maybe I'm remembering this wrong, but didn't Rock have a really high pitched voice?
Yeah, because he's wasn't he like technically a kid or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that like threw me off when Rock started speaking. I was like, wait, hold up. That's what you sound like? It's such a shame too, because I love Celica's design. She looks so cool. Like Celica looks like a character that would have been in like old school Phantasy Star. Like she could have been in Phantasy Star 4 or 2. And that'd have been they should have done more with her. I'm mad about that one.
Yeah.
I can talk about another Xenoblade Cross character actually, which I'm also mad about.
Okay, go ahead.
Jiarg. Man, like the cat dude, the Rothian. Why wasn't he playable?
I know, right?
Oh my god.
Actually, I don't think any of the Rothians were playable. They were so cool.
The
Like-
lady?
Ga Buidhe?
Ga Buidhe. Yeah, Ga Buidhe.
I remember seeing her in trailers. I'm like, ooh, she looks cool. I hope I get to play as her. Nah. Nope.
Dude, like they look so cool and they have like all these sick weapons. Like she has like that beam halberd. And then he had like the beam saber. Like they're bosses, yeah, but man.
Yeah, they're
They could have been playable. Especially since like they end up there's that side quest where you get them to like actually emigrate into New LA.
Exactly. They join
So like
your
they're
side.
literally living with you. Yeah, they join your side. They start living with you, but you can't play as them. It's so frustrating. I tell you, Cross is one of those games. Cross had the potential to be the best game in the franchise, and then it does stuff like this. Oh man! But at least they get holographic figures. Well, I know Ga Buidhe at least does.
Yeah. It's not enough though. Well, okay. Well, I'll keep this Xenoblade X train a going. I'm gonna bring up L, and Robin actually brought up a lot of good points about L. Like, L is a really cool party member. He's hilarious, but he definitely fell to the wayside. And there's some interesting things in the art book that kind of hinted on, I don't know, what he might have been like in like a previous draft of the story. So yeah, what Robin said was, the art book has designs for characters similar to L based on other continents of Mira. With Tetsuya Takahashi's love of childhood's end, L's vaguely demonic appearance, L's full name being a reference to Lucifer, and L being a native of Mira, it feels like there was meant to be something there. It could be a straight up childhood's end ripoff, and L is trying to guide the evolution of multiple species. He could be a cosmic observer. He could be an outcast of his kind who really wants to live among the other species on Mira without affecting them. The potential others like L could have a hive mind, or with L as a council, or there might be might be a guardian of Mira. L just feels like an early story idea that got scrapped, but they kept the character, which is a very good description of L. Like,
That is exactly how I would describe L.
yeah.
And especially because he definitely seems like he has a lot more significance early on,
Mhm.
and he just doesn't.
And then he's just kind of there, which
He's just there. Or he opens up a shop, and that's cool. And yeah, he's playable, so that's cool too. He being your party, that's all cool. But what else do we get with him?
yeah, and he's the only species of that alien on Mira. So it's like, what? Who are you? Who are you, L?
Who are you people?
But he's goofy and has great character design. I like his character design a lot.
Yeah.
And that's where we get the term ass caves from. Yeah.
All right, so who's up next? What about you, Tyler? Pick a character.
But I just chose a character.
All right. Anthony, pick a character.
I'm sorry, I've been quiet for a little bit because I'm eating dinner here on the sidelines. Yeah, I know. We all right, let me just take a look. Can we talk about consoles X and Y from Xenoblade Chronicles 3 for a moment here. It seems that they are both very, very important, and yet I feel like they don't do nearly enough with these two villains. You defeating X isn't even part of the main storyline. Ask me how I know. I finished the game without ever defeating her. And Consul Y, the only reason I ended up defeating him is because the game kind of makes you go and do Mio's like quest to get Miyabi back. And aside from that, like if it weren't for that, I'm pretty sure like you never see X or Y. And I know nothing. To this day, I know nothing about X. And Y, I know, is basically the chief scientist. And I love the way he talks. The way the Y talks is so delightful. But other than that, like, and I have very mixed feelings about Y in particular, because Y was probably the biggest roadblock for me. Like, for me, it was a very hard fight the first time. The second time, still kind of hard, but didn't take me anywhere near as long as it did the first time to overcome that hurdle. But yeah, I mean, I feel like these two are, again, and this is a massive problem with Xenoblade 3 Chronicles. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 as a whole. There are things that are optional that really, 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 really shouldn't be, and these two are prime examples of that. Especially considering that they seem to have like in the final battle against Zed, he has, when he's split the party, he takes on the forms of X and Y. Like, his face, anyway. So clearly there's great significance and weight to these two characters, and yet I know nothing about them. And rant.
No, I completely agree, because, I mean, out of all the consoles, we see X and Y a lot more. Oh, I guess we see console J as well, but they are recurring villains, but we still don't. They're kind of like a lot of the consoles. They do come off across as like Saturday morning villains, and we don't really get to know much about them or why we should even care about them. And I agree.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah. Maybe if they didn't have, like, I don't know, villains that are like 25 letters of the alphabet, that would be kind of focused on a smaller group. I don't know.
It's double the amount of Organization 13, unless that didn't stop at 13.
Sorry, my mouth is full of French fries and milkshake. But that is an extremely accurate comparison that I have never thought to make until now. Holy shit. It's Organization 26. But yeah, I mean, you're right, though. And much like with Organization 13, there are members of that organization that we really don't get to know nearly as well as we'd like, because there are some really cool character designs and really neat things about them. But much like Organization 13, the consoles have the same problem of there's too many of them and not nearly enough time spent with each one of them. And so many of them are missable too. So it's frustrating, because I don't really mind the Saturday morning cartoon villainy-ness of some of them. Saturday morning cartoon villains kept me entertained all my life. So I don't really look down upon that. But I would like there to be a point to some of them. and it feels like a lot of them don't have points, and then the ones that do aren't even mandatory to encounter.
That's my problem too, because it's like the game can't decide on whether or not these villains are significant or not. Because hey, I am completely okay with one-dimensional villains, and for much of the game, I kind of treated them as that, and I said, you know what, that's fine. They can act like that. But then towards the end, but then the game will keep reminding you that they exist and that they're important and that they're significant, but they won't tell you why they're significant, and that's what gets me about it. It's like, make up your mind. Do you want these guys to just be random villains, or do you want them to be something more? Don't stop flip-flopping on me.
Yeah. No, I agree with you.
Like, you want these villains to just be one-off villains, and make them one-off villains. Don't make them don't all of a sudden make them important right at the end of the game, because one of these consoles you fight right before the final boss of the game, but only if you happen to do a side quest beforehand. So it's just like, what?
Is that X or Y?
That was X.
Okay. Yeah, because I was going to say, I felt like I fought Y right before. Also, with Y, I just remembered this. When he dies, he doesn't even get a cutscene.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't.
That's just it. And it's like...
He says something that's barely audible because the music is still going. And like, you're like, what? Wait, what?
Yeah. No, like, it's
so
insane. It's so insane. This is what I'm talking about. The game can't decide on whether or not they want their villains to be important or not. And it's like they can't commit to it. It's one of the biggest problems I have with Xenoblade 3 as a whole, is that, like, it feels like they have these ideas, but they don't want to commit to any of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm seeing that. I'm definitely seeing that.
All right.
I'm sorry, Tyler. We're getting heated because we care.
No, it's okay.
There are some other characters where I can go off about that again with some other characters on this if we want to talk about them, but that goes into Future Redeemed, and I don't know if we want to do that with Anthony around.
Well, you can always plug his ears. But as I was saying, B, would you like to go next?
Okay. Let's see here. Let's go with Juniper. Now, Juniper's an interesting one from 3. I liked Juniper. They were an interesting character. Like, the whole plot point was about how their colony is self-sufficient on food. And I did do all the side quests where they helped, which colony was it? One of the first ones you go to help set up their own plants and things, and I did like that. But what I want to know more about Juniper is, how did they become a colony leader? Like, why are they the leader? And why did they decide to do this, like, peaceful route and not worry about the Keves Ignis war? There's just not much about that.
I honestly did not finish Juniper's quest. It is one that I probably get back to, but there was a quest that was I don't know. I don't know. I felt Juniper was a little boring as a character, so I guess I would have liked there to be more to them, but I didn't hate them either. I don't know. I definitely agree there should have been more for me to, I don't know, I guess care more.
My honest thoughts on Juniper is that Juniper made me depressed. like when we meet Juniper for the first time, it is a very depressing quest, and when it ends, I don't feel like I really, when they smash the flame clock, I really don't feel like I did anything for them. Like, but I think it was around the time where we meet Juniper and Juniper's kind of like what really made me realize that Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is a really, really depressing game at times. Like really, like, it was quite sad. I don't hate, like you, Tyler, I don't hate Juniper. That character just really depressed me, and I can't quite put my finger on it. I think it was more like the just willingness to give up and roll over, like they were saying.
Well, a lot of it was that their colony decided not to fight in the war.
Right.
That's true,
But
yeah.
at one point, Juniper says, like, you know, when we run out of food, we'll die. And it is what it is. And I'm like, damn. It was fatalistic. I think that's the word I was looking for, was fatalistic.
I think I did like wasn't there a side quest? Was it them that taught the people how to grow potatoes?
Yes, it was.
Now I did like that. That was nice.
Like that quest. That was fun. And it gave the warm and fuzzies on a rather depressing storyline.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, who wants to go next?
I'm down to talk about Monica for a little bit.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So, I'm going to start by saying I love Monica.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's a hot take or not, but Monica was one of my favorite characters.
Lukewarm.
Lukewarm? Okay, that's fair. That's fair. So, I like Monica because she reminds me a lot of Vandom from Xenoblade Chronicles 2. It helps that she is a Vandom. And I thought that it was a really, really cool thing that they did, where they make the Vandom that is probably the more important character, a woman. And to my understanding, I think this is the first time that we've had a female Vandom. And I like how she just takes no shit from, like, literally anyone, even and she's willing to make hard decisions. And when I took Monica into the final battle with me. Like, she was my ride or die for, like, the rest of the game after I was able to put her back in my party. So I would have liked to see a little bit more. I don't remember if I did both parts of her story or just the first part. The last thing I remember is that some kid walked up to her and was like, yo, I got the hots for you, and, like, I'm in love with you, and stuff like that. And I was like, it's a little weird. He's a lot younger than she is, and I don't know if that was the first part or the second part of the quest, but it also wasn't really what I wanted for her quest. Like, I wanted to go more into her her history as a leader. And I don't necessarily feel like she fell too far to the wayside. She did get a lot of screen time, but I don't know. I feel like there's a lot more that they could have done with that character.
Agreed.
But yeah, I mean, overall, like what we did get, I really, really liked.
I agree. I think she's a great character. I also think her age is a typo. But
I knew somebody was going to bring that shit up.
If I didn't, somebody else would have.
I know. Especially, it's funny because her age wouldn't be a typo if it weren't for the fact that Gondor is so old. Like, it's one of those things where you're just like, and like, if I'm not going to say what it is, but if that did happen, it is something that can happen in real life.
Yes.
But the fact that it did happen and they don't talk about it is a little weird.
It's also just kind of like yes, it can technically happen, but, like, why write that? Like, you could have just not. Especially since they don't even talk about it anyways.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, I feel like they were cowards. Like, they were afraid to make her too old because, oh no, if she's over the age of 40, nobody will find her hot anymore. But also, it's important for the story that she has a kid, and this kid is old enough to do things. I don't know what Gondor's age is, but if I had to pin it, I'd say 16 or something like that. She reads like a bratty 16-year-old going through the rebellious phase. So, how old is Monica again?
So Monica, actually, Monica's 33, Gondor's 18.
That's even worse. Okay, so, but, yeah, I feel like, I feel like that's why they did it, is because it's purely for the out of fear that people will think that Monica is too old for some fucking reason, because the moment you cross the age of the threshold of 35, you're basically considered a senior citizen in stuff like this.
You're saying I'm a senior citizen?
We've all seen the meme. We've all seen the meme of the old man going, "I'm 30 years old."
Yeah, there's three senior citizens in this episode.
Yeah, so it's like, again, it's one of those things where, another thing that I feel like they couldn't commit to, which is a recurring theme. The more I think about this game, the more I'm thinking that, and I hate it. But, it's just one of those things. It's just like, I guess it's a bigger problem with the industry that, like, we're so afraid of having female characters that happen to be quote unquote older, that you end up with situations like this.
It's what it feels like, which leads me to my point of. Which
makes me go. I'll let you finish, but it's just like, and this is why it ticks me off, because it's just like, okay, so you would rather write Monica as a 33-year-old with an 18-year-old daughter than just making Monica a 40-year-old. Like, that is what they consider to be the better solution. That's what gets me about it.
Like that, and we're making a lot of assumptions. I'm gonna point this out there. We're making a lot of assumptions with this. For all we know, it
for sure
A could have in fact been a typo, or B, like, there could be story there that maybe Takahashi was gonna give us that just ended up having to get cut for time, because I will go to my grave believing that Xenoblade Chronicles 3 was rushed. Far and away. I believe that out of all three titles, this was easily the one that was the most rushed. And I knew it was going to be rushed when they moved the release date from November to July. I looked at that, and I know everybody else was going, yay! And I was going, oh no. Because I feel like things had to be crunched. Things had to be cut. Things had to be not as fleshed out as they could have been. And I think that instead of a quest where some lovey-dovey, love-struck fucking kid in his late teens, early 20s walks up to Monica and says, yeah, I think you're hot. You want to go on a date? I think that maybe there could have been more story there. Maybe there's a story there of her overcoming challenges of being a single parent and also leading a fucking resistance against an organization hell-bent on killing all of them. Like, there could have... I think that the age thing is a setup for something that never happened. And the way it comes off is we can't have a woman over the age of 38 because otherwise people will think that she's not marketable for some fucking reason. It's disgusting. The older I get, the more intense my opinions on subjects like these, because it's like, it's ageist, which is
it is, and it's just like
things I never thought I'd fucking say.
But I guess that's what I'm getting at, is that they would rather write a woman this young going through struggles. That is a more appealing storyline to these writers than just saying, okay, she's a 40-year-old. That is what's crazy to me.
Mm-hmm.
That's the point I'm trying to make.
Like, I think that there could be an interesting story there for a woman going through, for a single mom going through struggles like that. I think there is potential for something really interesting, but fucking do it. Like commit to it. Don't be non-committal about it and just throw it out there. Like it's because when you don't commit to it, this is what happens. You have people on the internet who played the game talking about it in a fucking book study circle like this, going, "What the fuck happened here?"
Yeah.
Like, I understand that he likes to leave things up to interpretation, but give us a fucking guardrail.
I also think a problem I have, maybe it's not maybe I'm over-exaggerating, but with Monica, I feel like a lot of it kind of goes back to, like, the male characters in her life. Like, whenever, like, with that quest we were talking about, there was that guy that had a crush on her, and a lot of it's like, oh, what would Guernica do? So a lot of it goes back to Guernica, and then her husband who passed away. And there's a lot of times where it's like, okay, but I want more of Monica herself, not the guys that were in her life at some point.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%, Tyler. 100%.
And that's another thing. It's like, even if they really did want to write that, I'll be honest, I do not trust them writing that story. I do not trust them writing that story with Monica one bit.
That's fair. You know what? That's totally fair.
That's why I'm so against it. I'm just like, I do not trust these people writing that story. If that is genuinely what they wanted to do with her,
maybe. Well, hold on. Another speculation. Maybe they went to, and then then Nintendo or somebody shot it down, and then they just never changed her age. Like, there's so many ways this could have gone.
Yep.
But, like, I disagree personally. I would have liked to see it. I would have trusted it. You not trusting them, I totally fucking get that. I can absolutely understand why you're not gonna trust that shit.
Well, what we could say about her could fill an episode at this point.
Yeah, you really. Oh man, like because there's a lot there. And that's one of the reasons why I like her so much, is that she is one of the most prominent characters and one of the most memorable characters from this game.
So,
she's really, really cool. But they don't do enough, and they don't explain enough, and they don't... Anyway,
were you saying... podcast idea is just about Monica? Is that what I'm understanding?
Just Monica.
Just Monica.
All right.
Just Monica.
Nice.
I understood that reference, Tyler.
Okay, well, we are running low on time, so I say we should talk about one more character before we go.
Let's give it to Kat. Let's talk about something from Xenosaga.
Let's see, what's still Xenosaga?
I was wondering if we could maybe, well, if you want to, or would you like to talk about Rico from Xenogears?
I feel like if we don't do Rico with this, we are missing the point.
Yes.
Yeah,
like the poster child of this episode.
we should have mentioned him.
Yeah, it wasn't. Weren't we waiting for Bot to be on this? So, because like a lot of the Rico notes are Bot's notes.
Well, he was. We were secretly maybe going to have Robin on this episode, but he unfortunately couldn't. So that's why a lot of the green notes on there is from.
Could wait for a third part. Just saying.
I don't know if we'll ever do a third part, but it's possible. But what would you like to do, Kat?
I would like to read Robin's notes because, like, I love Rico. I thought he was very cool. But I don't know what I would do with him. So, and like, Robin wrote a lot of notes, so I just want to read them. Let Rico have some interaction with his father. Ideally, have Kaiser Sigmund relinquish control of Nortune to Rico when he steps down. Though I feel like the game would go with Sigmund dying before surrendering control, which works too. In the notes, it says Robin is fine with Sigmund's reasoning for abandoning Rico being implicit at best. We don't need every character to have a huge backstory. Let Sigmund be a jerk who abandoned his family. We would love more throwaway lines between Rico and Hammer. When Hammer defects, there's an impression that Rico is genuinely hurt by uniquely hurt by the betrayal. We know they lived in Nortrude together, but it's implied that they didn't really interact before Faye, so they weren't exactly they weren't already friends. Having them clearly be friends before Faye, before Faye, or include more interaction to show that they've become friends since Faye either allows for Rico becoming more affected by Hammer than the others.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely agree with that, because they definitely, every time they're hanging out, like at the base, they're in the same room. And it's like there's a friendship there, and there is a friendship there, but they definitely could have fleshed it out more. But I'll continue reading for you, because I don't want you to force you to read the whole thing. Robin also said, also adding a scene where Hammer talks about feeling useless and Rico sounds dismissive would help build up both characters and foreshadow Hammer's betrayal. Is this what happened with Shania and Gondor? Yes, but Hammer and Rico were first. Good point. And then the last thing he said was, not a story problem, but make him less slow in battle. Maria does the moves slow, but hits hard things better than he does.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
It makes me sad that Rico is F tier.
Yeah, he just gets outclassed so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
He's it's another cool design that's just kind of wasted in this game.
Yeah, he's Blanca.
Yeah, because I think Takahashi loves Street Fighter, so they did a whole character that looked like Blanca, but they didn't do all that much with them.
Maybe they should have put Rico and Air Guides.
Oh, I would have loved that.
Y'all ever play that game?
Yes, I beat the story mode that they had, because I suck at fighting games.
Oh wait, yes, I remember that, because it had following 7 characters in it, right?
Yeah.
I remember renting that, and I remember playing the story mode. I was like, what the? This is so different than the fighting game. What is this? Yeah,
they should put Rico in there. Put him in that, or make him like a guest character in Toe Ball. One of those 2 games. That's what they should have done.
Oh, but it is such a shame, because he has a really cool arc. Like, his introduction and the whole D-block section is like a really cool part of the game. But just to like with Maria and Emerelda, they have their part, and then they're just there for the ride. Just there for the ride.
There is a note about Chu-Chu needed more screen time, but she's the kaiju who's in love with Faye, and it's very actually live alive that we have a kaiju on our team. I just it gives me live alive energy.
Yeah.
I don't know much about Chu-Chu, but you mentioned Live Alive, so I'm interested.
Yeah, because the mecha the mecha live action part of
near future.
Yeah. So Chu-Chu is this adorable little pink fluffy creature who she's immediately in love with Fei Fan Wong, and she just follows the party around because she's in love, and not just any kind of love. She feels like she's destined to be in love with Fei. And she essentially kind of low-key thinks that she's Ellie. And I love that because she's just this little I wouldn't say deranged, but very head in the clouds type of young and innocent character that it goes against the tone of 90% of the rest of Xenogears. And a lot of people really hate her. I thought she was funny. But like it's also, it created a moment of like cognitive dissonance where like they were crucifying the robots, and Chu-Chu also counts as a gear. So we get the scene where Chu-Chu died for our sins, and we could have gotten more out of that. I feel. Feeny has some notes. I'll read from Feeny. Dead serious about this one. The arc, yeah, and like I want her character to be deeper. Like I know she like I know she's pretty much a product of the times, but she feels like such a joke character, and honestly, kind of sucks. I know it's her whole thing. She's a joke character, but I wish she had more depth than just a horny creature who wants to fuck Faye.
But she can heal gears, though.
Yes.
Hey, Justin, was Chu-Chu a Tournament of Voices character? This name sounds familiar.
Did we do Chu-Chu?
Does she look like a dog?
No, you're thinking of Poshul from Chrono Cross.
I'm thinking of Poshul from Chrono Cross.
But I'm trying to remember if I had Chu-Chu on our doc or not, because I know I did a few.
I feel like we have Chu-Chu on the document.
Or or I've considered it in the past.
I feel like we have Chu-Chu on the document. Sorry. Yeah, I just the name sounded very, very, very familiar, and I genuinely couldn't remember if we'd done this character. But yeah, no, sorry, I didn't mean to.
It's okay.
You good? I gotta ollie out.
Okay. Wanna say anything? Plug anything real quick?
Sure. I'm trying to rebuild my website under a new domain name after, kind of like destroying all my old social media accounts, and I'm trying to build my personal art presence back up. I'm not sure how successful I'll be because it's the modern internet, and if you don't have a social media, you can't get anywhere. But I'm hoping to post more art soon. I've been scanning more stuff. I will be at MagFest. And watch Ranking of Kings if you have not already. It is gorgeous.
Well, thank you. And if you want to send me that link, I can put it in the show notes if you want.
The link for what?
Website.
Your website.
Oh, okay. It's very not done, but thank you. I can link what I have. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, no problem. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. Have a good night, everybody.
Night, Cat.
All right. So, with that, we'll wind down ourselves. But yeah, this was a very interesting conversation. Of course, we didn't touch all the characters on our list, but we got just about almost all of them. But if we ever wanted to do like maybe a mini episode, or maybe even a whole episode, depending on how long we ramble,
I feel like we have enough on this list to do another episode. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, because there's some of those topics that we could probably
Monica.
go on and on and on.
Just Monica.
Just Monica.
Just Monica.
Oh, that's a good one.
There's some names here that I actually would have liked to talk about, like Gort or what was his name from Xenoblade Future Galgar. That was it. I had ideas about those two that I would have liked to talk about at some point. So yeah, if we get to do it in an episode 3, that'd be kind of neat. I would sign up for that.
Okay.
I know we have 4 characters in Xenoblade Chronicles 3 that we didn't touch on, but and I actually have quite a bit to say about them. But I think what I have to say about them could probably go into another episode.
Sure. Then let's do another episode on it.
But I mean, not necessarily in a minor characters and how we make them better. I think that rant could be for just another episode in general. Because what I have to say about them is part of a much bigger problem I have with Future Redeemed.
Actually, I think
Justin going off on Xenoblade Chronicles 3 gives me such life.
Which I think you might have actually talked about it quite a bit on the Future Redeemed episode.
Yeah, I have a lot to say about those 4 characters.
Well, that will be another episode entirely.
Yeah.
Or go back to our Future Redeemed episode, which we did have that.
We did have the Future Redeemed episode, yeah.
Okay, but anyway, let's go around, and if there's anything you're working on or want to plug,
Oh, can I go?
Go ahead, B.
Excellent. So, with the release that was last week of Super Mario RPG, that is my favorite game of all time. So I've been cruising through that. Love it. But a game that I'm going to highlight that Justin knows all too well is Exoprimal. It's on Steam. Love it. It's murdering dinos. How I've been describing it to some people as it's a zombie apocalypse, but swap the zombies for dinosaurs. I beat the whole storyline. It's decent. It's a time warp, but it's so much fun. That's all. Oh, and 3D printing stuff. I'm always doing that, though.
Nice.
That's it. That's me.
Okay. All right. How about you, Anthony?
Assuming you're going to edit in my long rant about Super Mario RPG.
And how awesome it is.
Insert rant here.
Insert rant here.
Please switch to disc 1.
Basically what I will say is, yeah, I got it that day, and I picked it up, and when I started playing it,
all came back.
I didn't put it down. I didn't put it down until 4:30 that morning, and rolled credits. Like, oh, you were Tyler, you were there, I think, for a little bit of it, right?
Yes, I was. So you.
Where was I when you were with us?
I don't know.
Was I in the clouds?
I don't think you. Well, wait. I remember you climbing some vine-like things.
Yep.
Vine-like things.
Yeah, I was headed into Nimbus Land, and like at that point, after I had beaten Nimbus Land, I was like, I'm at a point where I'm like, I could go to bed here and save the rest of the game for tomorrow, or I could do something that I previously thought impossible and beat this game in a single like sesh. And 4:30 in the morning rolls around, and I had rolled credits, and I was like, I did not previously think this was possible, but I beat that. I proved that game is a short and sweet. I proved it.
Can I just say how satisfying it is to watch Mello dance?
Can I just say how satisfying it is to listen to this music again?
Yes.
Reimagine. You'd be amazed. This soundtrack does not get a lot of love on
I like it.
No. What I mean is that like remixers or people who do covers of video game music, they don't touch this game. Like, it is very hard to find like orchestrations or reimaginings or remixes of music from this game that's like of any decent quality. And to hear Shinomura come back and just blow it out of the water like she did, I haven't stopped listening to the soundtrack. It's exactly what I needed. Like, this game is exactly what I needed. I never thought that this game would get a remake. Not in a million years. And it was probably the nicest surprise of 2023 for me. And I've also beaten, as of Saturday night, I beat all of the post-game content too.
Okay.
So I like grabbed this game by the horns, and I beat it into submission.
Did you like the new boss?
It was genuinely, well, new boss. I really should say new bosses, because all of the post game is basically rematches with previous bosses. And when you do get around to playing this, Justin, I don't want to say too much, but I think you'll like the post game because each boss fight is actually a very well designed
Well,
puzzle.
I was gonna say
Oh.
I have been spoiled on most of the new content for this, so it's
Okay.
stuff
I have not, so please don't spoil
I'm
it.
not. I'm not going to spoil anything. All I'm going to say is that don't approach it like a straight up fight. Approach it like a puzzle,
good.
Okay.
That's
and it's actually crazy satisfying. The only one that you would approach like as a straight up fight is the last one, and the last one it took me an hour to beat it on like a single run. It was a long fight, but it was incredibly satisfying, and it kept me on my toes the entire time. Like at the drop of a dime, something could go wrong, and that would be it. So it's like one of those like very high intensity, like you really got to be top of your game to beat that, and it's far and away one of the best things that I've played. Tyler, if you want to like edit this part and like put this at the end of the episode when we normally talk about what we've been playing and stuff like that, and just like take this and move it there for me, because yeah, that would be great. But yeah, no. For me, I would give it like is it what I wanted? Yes. If I'm being subjective about it, it's a 10 out of 10 because of nostalgia. If I'm being a little bit more objective and not looking through rose-tinted glasses, I would say it's an 8 out of 10 just because it's Mario RPG. It really is, at the end of the day, just baby's first RPG. But it's such a good game. It's so much fun.
Well, I just asked, how did you like it?
and he told you.
Very well. Okay.
Please switch to disc 2.
All right, so now that you've listened to my complete and full thoughts on Super Mario RPG, sorry if you've made it through that. I applaud you, and I thank you for listening. But I have also been working on Fire Emblem Engage, and that is surprisingly better than I thought it was going to be. I initially was not very excited about it, despite Fire Emblem being my favorite like franchise as a whole. The map design is really, really good. The gameplay is very engaging, pun unintended, but I'm having a lot of fun with that, and I'm excited to see how that wraps. I think I'm a little bit over halfway through it. And then I'm planning on going back to Future Redeemed so I can finally put that to bed. Play live. If I haven't been on an episode since I finished it, play Live Alive for God's sakes. It is one of the best RPGs I've ever played. It has stuck with me. I can't stop thinking about this game. The music is incredible. Please play Live Alive if you have a Switch, or actually I think it's only on Switch. I don't think it was on Steam.
No, it's on other consoles.
Oh, it is. Okay. Well, however, like whatever you do to play it, just play it. It is such a good game.
There's even a demo.
Oh, there is.
Mm-hmm.
That's neat. Yeah, give that a shot. Do you know what chapter is in the demo?
That's a good question.
I'm afraid because like one chapter is not reflective of the others. They're all so wildly different.
Oh, I forgot what was in the demo.
Okay, there was. I want to say there was far future.
I think the ancient China one's in there in the demo.
No, are you serious? That's like one of the best chapters. That's perfect, honestly, because that chapter, like gameplay wise, is probably like one of the best to showcase for a demo. So yes, I would say that's a great chapter to have in the demo. And I also think that's my like second favorite chapter. Anyway, the last thing I wanted to talk about was I saw the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, and I really liked that. Like as a FNAF fan from the beginning up until like I think the fifth or sixth game. I think after the sixth game I kind of dropped off like following it, but I really, really enjoyed the movie a lot because I wasn't expecting anything from it. I was expecting it to be like a bastardization of what FNAF is, and it was surprisingly satisfying. So if you like FNAF, you will probably like the movie. If you don't like FNAF, I really don't know if you're gonna like it or not, because I don't know if there's really anything there for you. But it's a fun movie. It's baby's first horror movie, and I had a good time with it. I was entertained the whole way through.
Right.
And that's it.
Okay.
That's everything I wanted to talk about.
Okay. All right. How about you, Justin?
All right, so games I've been playing, I have been back to streaming since the move, and I played Nayuta, and we're almost done with that. I initially thought that my next stream was going to be my last stream, but turns out there's like 2 more chapters even ahead of the one that I'm currently on, so we got more Nayuta content coming, which is not a bad thing because I'm really enjoying it. It's probably one of my favorite games this year. It's a lot of fun.
Oh wow.
So I've been playing that. I've also been playing Exoprimal with B.
Murder dinosaurs.
Yes. We started the game together because like a couple weeks ago they had it for free, and I was like, oh, there's this game Exo Prime. First of all, I didn't know Exo Primal even came out. I thought it was actually coming out later. So like when I saw that free weekend, I was like, all right, I'll give this a shot. And then B and our Nick joined us, and we had a lot of fun, and we all got the game. So
yeah, we're still continuing to murder all the dinosaurs.
Yeah, so we've been playing that on the side a lot, and it's a lot of fun actually. I don't usually play like multiplayer games like this, but no, this is a good one. It's if you like Earth Defense Force, it's got that kind of cheesiness to it.
Fun.
Yeah. Blowing up dinosaurs with robots, it's good. It's a good combo.
And there's some excellent quotations in there. So
there's good quotations. There's good emotes in it. So if you don't want to do like PvP, you can do the PvE mode. That's what we mainly play, and it's just it's neat how like the story is set up, because like the more you do multiplayer matches, the more you learn about the lore, and then like you'll get cutscenes here and there, and sometimes like some of the matches will be like story missions. So the story's laid out in a really interesting way, I think, and I kind of like how you're kind of just piecing together a lot of it.
And I'm making us t-shirts, us 3 t-shirts that says what was the quote again? T-Rex. No, every month is T-Rex.
Every month is T-Rex awareness month. Yeah. There's a one character. The thing that pisses me off is they have that character Majesty, who feels like that. She feels like that's Capcom's way of just like baiting Dino Crisis fans.
Well, yeah, but she has some awesome lore that you haven't got to yet.
Does she look like Regina or something?
She's got the red hair. She's got mad Regina vibes.
Just wait till you get to her lore.
Yeah, I can't wait to get to her lore. But I am
streaming that game too.
Yep. Be streaming it. I also plan on streaming it as well. So look forward to that. Because I'm gonna be starting a new streaming schedule. So I'll be announcing all that good stuff.
Sorry,
really soon.
I cut in, Justin.
No, that's fine.
That game is very exciting. Makes me very excited.
That is completely fun. It's a game worth being excited over, because it's a ton of fun. And I don't think a lot of people are really talking about it. So take a look at Exoprimal if you can. It's really good. Another game I've been playing, I've also been playing, I know I said Nayuta, so I've been playing the mainline Trails series. I've been slowly making my way through that. I started Trails to Azure, however you say it. People say Azure, some people say Azure. I've been playing that one. I am still in chapter 1, towards the end of it, and I'm really liking it so far. It's like taking everything that was great about 0 and just making it better, which is cool because 0 was also really freaking good. So I'm hoping to finish that by the end of the year and then get back to playing some more Mega Man games like Battle Network. But lots of trail stuff with me lately. So between Nayuta and Azure, I've got a lot of gameplay going on. So
nice. Okay. Well, as for me, I can't remember if I mentioned it, but I beat Final 16 like a month or so ago. It was okay. It was just okay. But I've been juggling a few games. I randomly got into Stardew Valley.
Be careful, Tyler. That is a rabbit hole.
Oh, I know. I needed something chill, and I definitely got it. But then I beat Signalis, which is awesome.
Oh yeah, I gotta get that.
So good. I've been playing Little Goody Two Shoes. That's been really good too. And I finally picked up Baldur's Gate 3 back up because I put that down because of Stardew Valley. And it's a really good game. It's a really good game.
Are you beginning to understand why I sold my soul to D&D?
I can kind of see it. Yep. It's a really good game. Really great characters. It's just overall great game.
Wait, Baldur's Gate you're talking about?
Yeah, Baldur's Gate 3.
So, I should plug this real quick with Baldur's Gate. I know a lot of people have been wanting a physical version of Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh, yes.
And so you have two options for that. One is the Japanese physical release, which was announced a little while ago, and that's coming out in December. But I believe that version is said to be censored, apparently. I don't know what exactly they changed, but yeah, that's that. But there's another physical edition that just got announced. It's gonna be from Larian Studios. They have this big box limited edition with it. It's got like a map. There's like posters, there's stickers, there's a soundtrack. So that's coming. So yeah, if you want a physical copy, check that out.
It's coming like
if I had to take a guess as to what they're going to censor, they're probably going to pixelate genitals because you can absolutely see peens.
So from what I've heard, apparently it's both that and also the violence too.
But
it
that's
can be
the fun of D&D.
I mean, it can be very gory.
They're apparently toning down some of the violence in it. So, but that's the Japanese digital version. I don't know if that's applying to the physical one as well. It probably will, but like the physical version also supports English. So I don't know if it's gonna be one of those things where if you switch it to English, then it won't be censored. Who knows?
Yeah, and the physical version I heard comes out first quarter 2024. Yeah.
The Western physical will be next year. The Japanese one will be next month.
Gotcha. Okay. Other than that,
they
I've been
really knocked it out of the park with that game.
It's so good. I
haven't played it, but I've heard nothing but good things.
I would be surprised if it doesn't win Game of the Year and RPG of the Year and whatnot.
Yeah, it's a stacked competition this year at the Game Awards. I'm kind of excited.
A lot of good games.
I mean, this has been a phenomenal year for video games, and I feel like it's nice because I feel like I've been able to say that a lot the last few years. But this year in particular, we've had some really, really, truly lovely surprises, like Baldur's Gate 3, like Tears of the Kingdom, like Super Mario RPG Remake, like games that we knew that they would be good, but we didn't know how good they'd be. Like they met and exceeded expectations, and in the case of Super Mario RPG Remake, that we didn't even know that was going to be a thing. Like, not in a million years would I have thought that was ever going to happen. And not only did it happen, but they got it. Like, they understood the assignment. So it has been a phenomenal year. And then like Super Mario Wonder came out, and I've heard nothing but good things about that too, other than the fact that playing as Ravio or Yoshi is apparently misleading because it puts the game on easy mode and it's cryptic. I think that's dumb. Anyone who watched the direct would have known that. But yeah, I mean, it's just been a great year. It's really been a great year for games, and I'm excited to see how the Game Awards go, and I'm also excited to see like where things go from here, because usually when you have a good year, sometimes it gets followed up by an even better year because trends get set. And one of the nice things that got set this year is the idea of a complete game at launch that feels finished And that is a good business model. And if that does well at these award shows, then maybe that'll set a trend for the industry and we can move away from this microtransaction hell we've been stuck in for the last decade.
Oh, I guess one other thing I could mention is I started the Tales of Ryyz DLC, which is a thing I started playing.
Cool.
I'm like 5 hours in. It's basically more of the same. It's not like, you know, a Xenoblade DLC where it kind of like changes a lot of things and it's like almost like a game within itself. It's basically more of the same game, which if you like that, it's good. At least so far.
Yeah, I heard good things about Tales of Arise.
Oh, it's such a good game.
For a lot of people, it's what put Tales on the map.
A good game.
It's a good game, and I can't wait for. I mean, there's like several Dohalim figures coming out, and
Who doesn't love Dohalim, and why is he my favorite?
Oh, he's just amazing, and he's back in the DLC, and he's just as great as ever. That's I guess that's one thing to get the DLC is
Dohalim.
More Dohalim. All right. Well, thank you guys for discussing these characters that definitely deserve more spotlight than they got. And everyone listening. Before this would have been the cosplay episode. Definitely recommend listening to that. And I believe the next episode we're planning is our yearly holiday episode, so look forward to that as we iron out the details for it. But that's XenoChat. So yeah, thanks everyone for listening, and have a good night.
Thanks for having us. Take care.
Bye.
Later, folks.
Save the game?
I'm assuming my mic is still on, yes? No?
Yes.
Okay. I've been turning it off every time I shove food in my face. I'm sorry.
Okay. Appreciate it.
You gotta be kidding me!